A very warm good morning to everyone gathered here. It's a true honor to welcome you all to the Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award ceremony at the Gloria Gobikuma Hall, Government Engineering College, Thrissur. At the heart of today's gathering is Smiles, the Students' Charitable and Educational Society, a unique initiative built not on institution but on friendship, trust, and compassion. Smiles was founded by 13 civil engineering classmates from JSA's 1982-86 batch. What began as a simple act of giving has grown into a deeply impactful support system.
In 1982, 13 young minds came together at the Government Engineering College, Thrissur, to pursue their dreams in civil engineering. Little did they know that their bond would transcend time and inspire a movement decades later. In 2018, they founded the Smiles Student Welfare Charitable Society, a humble venture which was meant to be a beacon of hope for students in need. Smiles was born out of a simple yet powerful idea to empower students through education. Their mission is to provide financial and moral support and offer mentoring to deserving students from primary school to PhD level, ensuring that no dream is left unfulfilled due to lack of resources. Since its inception, Smiles has touched the lives of around 45 students, disbursing over 30 lakh rupees in scholarships and aid. From young children in primary schools to scholars pursuing PhD, Smiles has been a lifeline for many.
നമസ്കാരം, ഞാൻ സുരേഷ്. ഇവിടെ അട്ടപ്പാടിയാണ്. ഞാൻ ആദിവാസി കുറുമ്പർ വിഭാഗത്തിൽപ്പെട്ടതാണ്. ഞാൻ നിലവിൽ IIT ജോധ്പൂരിൽ PhD ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. ഇവിടെ PhD ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് എൻ്റെ ഫീസും കാര്യങ്ങളും തന്ന് സഹായിച്ചത് സ്മൈൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കൂട്ടായ്മയാണ്. ഒരുപാട് സന്തോഷം, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരുപാട് നന്ദി.
Hello, I am Muhammad Rafi from Wayanad. The 2018 Wayanad floods as well 2019 COVID has negatively impacted my family's livelihood in Wayanad, which year I was actually planning to pursue my graduation in Central University of Andhra Pradesh. But Smiles' generosity actually gave me a second chance. I have completed my graduation from Central University of Andhra Pradesh, as well my post-graduation from Pondicherry University in International Relations. Currently, I'm working as a Global Perspective Facilitator in a Cambridge International School in Hyderabad. Forever grateful to Smiles for their vision and for their social engagement. Thank you.
എൻ്റെ പേര് സീതാലക്ഷ്മി. ഞാൻ ഗുരുവായൂരാണ് താമസിക്കുന്നത്. ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കൊല്ലങ്കോട് കളരിക്കോവിലകം ആയുർവേദ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിലാണ്. ജൂനിയർ തെറാപ്പിസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടാണ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഞാൻ ഈ കോഴ്സ് പഠിക്കുവാനും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ജോലി ഇന്ന് എനിക്ക് ലഭിക്കുവാനും കാരണം സ്മൈൽസ് ചാരിറ്റബിൾ ട്രസ്റ്റ് ആണ്. അതിനാൽ തന്നെ സ്മൈൽസിലുള്ള എല്ലാ അംഗങ്ങൾക്കും ഞാൻ നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. അതുപോലെ പ്രത്യേകം രാമൻ സാറിനോടും ഞാൻ നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞു പോകുന്നു. സ്മൈൽസിന്റെ ഈ 15ാം വാർഷികത്തിൽ ഇനിയും ഈ സ്ഥാപനം നല്ല രീതിയിൽ മുന്നോട്ട് പോകുവാൻ ഞാൻ ആശംസിക്കുന്നു.
നമസ്കാരം, എൻ്റെ പേര് സൂര്യ.
എന്റെ പേര് സാന്ദ്ര. ഞാൻ പഠിക്കുന്നത് +1 ആളൂരാണ്.
ഞാൻ പഠിക്കുന്നത് GNM നേഴ്സിംഗ് കാഞ്ഞൂരാണ്. ഞങ്ങൾ സാമ്പത്തികമായിട്ട് പിന്നോട്ട് നിൽക്കുന്ന കുടുംബമാണ്. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ രണ്ടുപേരും പഠിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് സ്മൈൽ ചാരിറ്റബിൾ സൊസൈറ്റി ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുപാട് സഹായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സ്കോളർഷിപ്പ് നൽകി സഹായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോഴും ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സ്കോളർഷിപ്പ് നൽകുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് രണ്ടുപേർക്കും മാസം സ്കോളർഷിപ്പ് ആയിട്ട് തന്ന് സഹായിക്കാറുണ്ട് പഠനത്തില്.
പിന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് ദൂരം നടക്കാനൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സൈക്കിള് തന്ന് സഹായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
സ്മൈൽ ചാരിറ്റബിൾ സൊസൈറ്റിക്ക് ഒരുപാട് നന്ദി. ഞങ്ങൾ സഹായിച്ച എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇപ്പോഴും ഞങ്ങളെ സഹായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നതിനും നന്ദിയുണ്ട്.
Hi, I am Shovel Shaji, a postgraduate student in clinical nutrition and dietetics. I am grateful to the Smiles Charitable Trust for their generous support, which has helped me to complete my goals. I thank each and everyone involved in it. Thank you for believing in me and investing in my future. I wish all the very best for the trust, further developments and its activities. Thank you.
Each story is a testament to the power of education and the impact of collective effort. Smiles operates with transparency and dedication. Beneficiaries are carefully selected based on their academic potential and financial need. Each rupee donated is accounted for, ensuring it reaches those who need it the most and on time. The society is run entirely by volunteers who chip in their monthly contributions, incurring no administrative costs, so our contributions go directly to the students. Education is the most powerful tool to change the world, but we can't do it alone. Join us in our mission to create more smiles. Your support, no matter how small, can make a huge difference. Reach out to us directly or contribute or volunteer. Together we can build a brighter future. Thank you for watching and for believing in unity, togetherness, and the power of education. Let's change the world, one student at a time. This is Smiles, spreading smiles, one dream at a time.
We now have the honor of inviting our distinguished guests to the dais. I request the audience to welcome them with a warm round of applause as I call them forward one by one. We begin by inviting the chair of today's function, Dr. Solomon P.A., Principal, Government Engineering College, Thrissur. Sir, we welcome you to the dais. Thank you, sir. Next, we are privileged to welcome our chief guest, a literary icon and fearless voice for social justice, Professor Sarah Joseph. Ma'am, I request you to kindly take your place on the dais. We now invite our keynote speaker, an architect shaping a sustainable future across the globe, Architect Tanmay Tathagat. Sir, we are honored to have you with us. Please join us on the dais. We now invite Dr. Srilega, Head of the Department of Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College, to kindly join us on the dais. And finally, I'm honored to invite the President of Smiles, Mr. B.T.V. Krishnan, to kindly come forward and take his place on the dais. Thank you all.
Every gathering begins with a welcome, but some welcomes are more than a gesture. They are opening lines of a story, the first heartbeats of a legacy unfolding. We now invite to the stage Vidya Prakash Menon, a proud alumnus of GCT and one of the compassionate architects of Smiles, visionary and senior vice president of ITC Group, to deliver the welcome address.
A warm and pleasant good morning to one and all present here. It is indeed a moment of pride and joy as we gather together today for this special occasion. On behalf of President of Smiles, Mr. Krishnan BTV, and other members, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the guiding force of this prestigious institution, our respected principal, Dr. Solomon PA. Sir, we are honored by your presence today. Thank you, Krishnan. We are truly honored to have among us a distinct personality, Professor Sarah Joseph, our chief guest. A name that needs no introduction, a celebrated novelist, recipient of the prestigious Kendra Sahitya Academy Award and the Pride of Thrissur. On behalf of GCT and the entire Smiles family, I extend a heartfelt and warm welcome to you, ma'am. It's a privilege to have you with us today. We are also delighted to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Tanmay Tadkar, who has traveled all the way from Delhi to be part of this event. An architect by profession and the executive director of Environmental Design Solutions, Mr. Tadkar is a pioneer in the field of sustainable development. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and gracing us with your presence. A warm welcome to you. A warm welcome to Dr. Srilekha, Head of the Department of Civil Engineering, and all our esteemed professors who are truly grateful. We are truly grateful to your constant support and encouragement. To the student community gathered here, the heroes of the present and leaders of tomorrow, we extend a hearty welcome. And finally, to the incredible team that is Smiles, our batchmates, friends, and every member who has worked tirelessly to make this day possible. Welcome, and thank you for being the spirit behind this initiative. At Smiles, our strength has always been our ability to work together, united by a common vision, driven by shared passion, and always fueled by the joy of doing things together. Thank you all once again for being here and making this occasion truly special. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we are honored to invite the chair of today's function, Dr. Solomon, Principal, to address the audience. With his academic vision and leadership, GC has been steadily advancing as a center of innovation, inclusion, and excellence in engineering education. Sir, we warmly welcome you to address the gathering.
Respected chief guest of today's function, Professor Sarah Joseph, the president of Smiles, B.TECH Krishnan, keynote speaker of today's function, architect Sri Tanmay, and head of the Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. Srilekha, other eminent alumni members of the batch, the team Smiles, and the faculty members of the institution, civil engineering and architecture especially, and the students of civil engineering and architecture. Good morning to all. I'm actually excited to stand here because of this special event, special activity of the first Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award function. Actually, it is very special because it's an event of supporting students for their excellence and contribution of alumni team to the institution, and an example for mentoring students and example for supporting students. So it is truly a special event and to be appreciated a lot. As we are aware, in a B.TECH program, project report is the most important activity. Actually, we have to start doing this project report early stage of this particular program. Unfortunately, we are only starting it in 7th semester. And at present in 2024 scheme, the new latest scheme of KTU, Kerala Technology University, it is insisted to start at least in S5. So it is written that we have to start the project work in S5, semester 5. That means the topic has to be decided and the internship is to be should be connected with the topic of the project. Thereby we will get almost 2 years of effort in doing project work. Net effect, evaluation is only in 7th and 8th, but students are should start their activity deciding the topic and planning for deciding the problem and finding the external guide and all, everything should be done in the 5th semester itself. That's a drastic change in the latest syllabus. Students, as we are aware, every one of our project must be either socially relevant or industrially relevant. That is a great spirit we are getting when we explain our project work for the next step or for your next step, going for a job or explaining here itself. So please note that our project must be either industry relevant or society relevant. None of the project must be other than these two categories. So basically, I'm taking this opportunity to congratulate the Smiles team and also the Department of Civil Engineering for coordinating this activity. And also, as we are aware, interaction with the alumni has been contributed a lot to the institution. Let me tell a few examples of contribution by alumni. This is one of the great examples of contribution by alumni to the institution, no doubt. And at this time, I am adding few more points to that. You know, there is an award called GCT Safe, Get Safe Award. And it is a contribution of alumni members to the institution, and the corpus fund is coming to 1.25 crores now. The corpus fund of GCT Get Safe is coming to 1.25 crores. Every year, we are giving 5 lakh rupee per year for financially weaker students. And more specifically, we are giving awards to 50 students, 10,000 each in the institution. And it is actually from this corpus fund. So far, we have paid close to 40 lakhs from this fund. And when you look at the facilities of the institution, look at this example. It is actually Gloria Gobikumar Hall. Actually, she was an alumnus of our institution. She studied in electronics program, and she was working in Intel US. Unfortunately, she passed away in US. Her husband contributed 50 lakhs to the institution and asked us to do anything, something you want. Then we decided to renovate this historical Western amphitheater to the Gloria Gopikumar Hall, and it is being maintained and utilized very well. Extensively we are using it. And if you look at the other facilities of the institution, say auditorium, all Eastern Amphi, the mirror image of this particular room is the Eastern Amphitheater. For all these contributions, for all this infrastructure development, the prominent infrastructure developments, alumni has contributed, not fully. This is actually a case of full contribution. For PTA and other alumni has contributed a lot. And for placement also, alumni has been contributing extensively well for supporting the institution. One of the example is 1968 batch. I was talking to a very senior alumnus of our institution, and he was telling that his batchmate, first rank holder of chemical engineering batch, Thomas Matthew, was the president of industries. He regularly plays for 20 years in this institution. Every year he appoints 8 to 10 students together from chemical engineering and mechanical engineering to Jamnagar refinery or to refineries, Reliance Industries. He was the president of the industry. So because of the connection, so this is one of the example I am projecting because I belongs to chemical engineering. So that is why I am projecting that. But you know, there are numerous such examples available. Actually, in the last Alumni Executive Committee meeting, one of the alumnus from the Australia chapter, you know, you surely must be aware, students may not be aware, we have chapters across the globe. Many chapters in the region of Gulf and many in other countries like Australia, US and all. And we have an alumni site where you can see a map in which you can actually register the details of alumni. I mean, the sense you individual alumni can register. So when you click on a certain country, it will enlarge, as you know, like in Google Map, you can enlarge it and see places and find the person, where is the person available, and the details of the person, like alumni details like contact number and the position and everything. So we are maintaining such a website, and that is actually helping our students very much. So not only monetary, there are a lot of other help like mentoring students. This is one of the great example of mentoring students and promoting students. Okay, and in between I will add a few more, like say there is a team called GCT GCT development team, development club, which actually contributed so far 50 lakhs of developments institution, different developments for last 15 years. And now at present they are working on beautifying the campus, especially as many of the alumni member feedback, campus is to be beautified more and more. Okay, so we are actually, alumni itself is contributing very much in beautification of the campus. And like, so I've actually, being an alumni program, I was actually stressing little on alumni activity of the institution. And now I'm coming to the most important activity. I would like to congratulate the students who worked on topics optimizing seismic retrofitting of RCC buildings, an excellent project work, and actually it was evaluated by the team Smiles. They are experts of the field, and they commented that that's a very nice work. So I would like to congratulate the winners, the students Devika N, Anjay E.R., Amal Anto and Anand B. Vishnu, and their guide, Professor Jigil Joseph, for their excellent job. So anyway, let me add a few more points. This activity is excellently well coordinated, professionally very good, very well coordinated. Very nice sound systems are added, very good board, very nice video was added, and the room as such is completely filled. Even the gallery is completely filled. So it's a very nice scene. Being the principal, I am proud of this smile activity. So I just only I came to know that you have been contributing to the society, supporting students financially for the last 15 years. So anyway, this is the first Smile Award for our college, is it? Very nice. So please continue. I request the representatives of the Smile to continue support, and I would like to conclude the speech here. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for that deeply rooted message and showing us what vision grounded in service looks like. Every era has its chronicler, someone who does not merely write, but dares to rewrite what the world refuses to see. Today, we are in presence of one such rare voice that is sharp as truth and soft as resistance. Professor Sarah Joseph is not just a writer, she is a movement. From alleys of Alaheda Penmakal, where little girls grow up too soon, to the silence broken in Odappu, where women choose to walk away rather than walk behind. Her words have carried the unheard, the unseen, and the undone. A recipient of Kerala and Kendra Sahitya Academy Awards, the Vailar Award, and many more, she is a pioneering feminist voice in Malayalam literature. Her works question, comfort, and above all, awaken. As she once wrote, a woman's silence is not her consent, it's her scream unheard. Her pen has never wavered, even when the world looked away. And today, that very pen stands with us to honor young minds and celebrate the power of knowledge, compassion, and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, with immense pride and admiration, I invite to the dais our esteemed chief guest, Professor Sarah Joseph, to address this gathering.
പ്രിയമുള്ളവരെ, എല്ലാവർക്കും എൻ്റെ നമസ്കാരം. ഈ അടുത്ത് അന്തരിച്ച ശ്രീ M.T. വാസുദേവൻ നായരുടെ വളരെ പ്രസിദ്ധമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വാചകം എനിക്ക് ഓർമ്മ വരികയാണ്. വല്ലപ്പോഴുമൊക്കെ ചിരിക്കണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചിരിക്കാനുള്ള സിദ്ധി മറന്നുപോകും. ചിരി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ വികാസം ആണ്. ഞാൻ സ്മൈൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പേരിനെ അത് ശ്രീനി എന്നോടിത് പറഞ്ഞ ഉടനെ തന്നെ അതിൻ്റെ സാധ്യതകളെക്കുറിച്ചിട്ടും അതുണ്ടാക്കുന്ന ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ വികാസത്തെക്കുറിച്ചുമാണ് ചിന്തിച്ചത്. ചിരിക്കാൻ കഴിയുക, അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഈ ഡോക്യുമെൻ്ററി വീഡിയോ കാണുമായിരുന്നു. ആ വീഡിയോ കാണുമ്പോൾ വളരെ ആത്മവിശ്വാസത്തോടു കൂടി ചിരിക്കുന്ന കുറച്ച് കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളെയാണ് കണ്ടത്. അവർക്ക് റിസോഴ്സ് ഇല്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് ചിരിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ കഴിയരുത് എന്ന ഒരു തോന്നൽ ഇതിൻ്റെ പിന്നിൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ച ആളുകൾക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അത് മഹത്വപൂർണമായ ജീവിതങ്ങൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരർത്ഥത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ മഹത്വപൂർണ്ണമാകുന്നത് അങ്ങനെയാണ്. ജീവിതത്തെ വികസിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് സാധിക്കുക. ചിരിക്കുന്ന കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇന്ന് ലോകത്തിൽ എവിടെയും വളരെ അപൂർവമായൊരു സംഭവം ആകുന്നു. കരയുന്നവരും നശിച്ചു പോകുന്നവരും ഏറ്റവും വലിയ നിരാശയിൽ അകപ്പെട്ടവരും യുദ്ധത്തിൽ പലായനം ചെയ്ത് ഓടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നവരുമൊക്കെയായ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളുടെ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആലോചിക്കാൻ പോലും കഴിയാത്ത വിധത്തിൽ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ ദാരിദ്ര്യം കൊണ്ട്, മാർജിനലൈസേഷൻ കൊണ്ട്, ഇന്ത്യയിലാണെങ്കിൽ ജാതിയുടെയും മറ്റും പേരിലുള്ള പലതരത്തിലുള്ള വിവേചനങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട്, ലോകത്താകമാനം യുദ്ധങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട്, ദാരിദ്ര്യം കൊണ്ട് കുട്ടികൾ എന്ത് എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം വളരെ വേദനാജനകമായ ഒരു അനുഭവമായിട്ട് ഉള്ള ഒരു കാലഘട്ടത്തിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. കുട്ടികളെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വലിയ ഒരു മനുഷ്യ സ്നേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഭാഗം ആണ്. നമുക്കറിയാം, ഇന്ത്യ സ്വതന്ത്രമാകുമ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ലക്ഷ്യം എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒന്ന്, പണ്ഡിറ്റ് ജവഹർലാൽ നെഹ്റു ഒക്കെ വിഭാവനം ചെയ്ത ഒന്ന്, എല്ലാ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്കും സാർവത്രികമായ സൗജന്യമായ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം എന്നുള്ളതായിരുന്നു. സാർവത്രികം എന്നുള്ളതിലെ വർഗഭേദമില്ലാതെ, ജാതി ഭേദമില്ലാതെ, ഭാഷാഭേദമില്ലാതെ ഏതു കുട്ടിക്കും പഠിക്കാനുള്ള റൈറ്റ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നാണ്. ഭരണഘടന അതിനെ അവകാശമായിട്ടാണ് കണക്കാക്കുന്നത്, ഔദാര്യം ആയിട്ടല്ല. അപ്പോൾ ആ അവകാശം നമുക്ക് നേടിക്കൊടുക്കാനായോ, എല്ലാ കുട്ടികൾക്കും നേടിക്കൊടുക്കാനായോ എന്ന ചോദ്യത്തിന് ഉത്തരം ഇല്ല എന്നാണ്. വളരെ വലിയൊരു ഇല്ല ആണ് അത്. സാർവത്രികവും സൗജന്യവുമായിട്ടുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം. ഈ അടുത്ത കാലത്ത് നിങ്ങൾ ഓർക്കുന്നുണ്ടാവും, കുംഭമേള സമയത്ത് ഒരു പെൺകുട്ടി വലിയ ശ്രദ്ധ ആകർഷിച്ചു. എല്ലാവരും അവളുടെ സൗന്ദര്യത്തെയും കണ്ണുകളെയൊക്കെ പുകഴ്ത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് വീഡിയോ ഒക്കെ എടുത്ത് ആഘോഷിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആ പെൺകുട്ടിയോട് ഒരു ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂവർ ചോദിച്ചു, എവിടെയാണ് എത്ര ക്ലാസ് പഠിച്ചു എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു. കുട്ടി അമ്പരന്നു. പഠിക്കുകയോ? സ്കൂളോ? ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രാമത്തിലൊന്നും സ്കൂളില്ല. ഇതാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ ഇന്ത്യ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രാമത്തിൽ സ്കൂൾ ഇല്ല, പഠിക്കുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണെന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല, ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചിട്ടില്ല എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സുന്ദരി പെൺകുട്ടിയെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ആഘോഷിച്ചത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് ഒരു ചെറിയ കാര്യമല്ല. ആ ഒരു പെൺകുട്ടിയുടെ മാത്രം പ്രശ്നമോ അവൾ ജീവിക്കുന്ന ഗ്രാമത്തിൻ്റെ മാത്രം പ്രശ്നമോ അല്ല, മറിച്ച് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ പല ഭാഗങ്ങളിലും ഇത് തന്നെയാണ് അവസ്ഥ എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കണം. കേരളത്തിൽ ഇരുന്നുകൊണ്ട് ചിന്തിച്ചാൽ നമുക്ക് പിടികിട്ടുന്നൊരു കാര്യമല്ല അത്. കേരളത്തിൽ ഇരുന്നുകൊണ്ട് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തെ പറ്റി സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് അഖിലേന്ത്യാ സ്വഭാവമുള്ള ഒരു വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ പദ്ധതിയാണെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കരുത്. അങ്ങനെയല്ല. ഇന്ത്യയിലുടനീളം, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ വടക്കേ ഇന്ത്യൻ ഗ്രാമങ്ങളിൽ ഇതുപോലെ സ്കൂൾ എന്തെന്ന് കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലാത്ത, അക്ഷരാഭ്യാസം ഇല്ലാത്ത ഒരുപാട് ലക്ഷക്കണക്കിന് കുട്ടികൾ ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യ സ്വതന്ത്രമാകുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കുണ്ടാകുന്ന സ്വപ്നം ഇപ്പോഴും ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് സാധിച്ചിട്ടില്ല എന്നാണ് അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം. അതേസമയം ബഡായിക്ക് വീമ്പ് പറച്ചിലിനൊന്നും ഒരു കുറവും ഇല്ല. ഇന്ത്യ സാമ്പത്തികമായി ഏറ്റവും മുൻനിരയിലാണ് എന്ന് അവകാശപ്പെടാൻ ഒരു മടിയുമില്ലാത്ത ഭരണകൂടങ്ങളെയാണ്, മാറി മാറി വരുന്ന ഭരണകൂടങ്ങളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇന്ത്യ ഏറ്റവും മുന്നിലാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പിടി പേരുണ്ടായിരിക്കാം. പക്ഷേ ഇന്ത്യ ഏറ്റവും പിന്നിലാണ് എന്നുള്ളത് ഇന്ത്യക്കാരുടെ അനുഭവമാണ്, നമ്മുടെ അനുഭവമാണ്. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൻ്റെ ലക്ഷ്യം എന്ത് എന്നുള്ളതിൽ നിന്നും നമ്മൾ മാറിപ്പോയി. ഒരു നല്ല പൗരനെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പൗരയെ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയെടുക്കുക എന്ന രാഷ്ട്ര നിർമ്മിതിയാണ് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൻ്റെ ലക്ഷ്യം. നമ്മൾ വിഷയങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് വിഷയങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കൽ മാത്രമാണ്. ഒരു സ്കൂള് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കലാലയം, ഒരു യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി, ഒരു സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സ്ഥാപനം, ഇതൊക്കെ പ്രഥമമായി ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് ആ രാജ്യത്തിന് ഒരു മികച്ച പൗരനെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പൗരയെ സംഭാവന ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. വിഷയം പഠിക്കൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗമാണ്. അതേസമയം അത് പൂർത്തീകരിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത് ഒരു നല്ല വ്യക്തിയെ എങ്ങനെ രൂപപ്പെടുത്തിയെടുക്കുന്നതിന് ആ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സ്ഥാപനം സഹായിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. നമ്മൾ സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യ അഭ്യസിക്കുന്നു, നമ്മൾ സയൻസ് പഠിക്കുന്നു, മാത്തമാറ്റിക്സ് പഠിക്കുന്നു. അതൊക്കെ പഠിച്ചിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ടെക്നോളജിക്കലായിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ അറിവ് ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്, ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും പറയാറുള്ളൊരു ഉദാഹരണമാണ്, നമുക്കൊരു ബോംബ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാം. ഈ ബോംബ് കൊണ്ടുപോയിട്ട് അയൽപ്പക്കത്തെ വീടിൻ്റെ മണ്ടയിൽ ഇടണോ എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ളൊരു ധാർമ്മികതയുടെ ഉത്തരം ആണ്. നമ്മുടെ ധാർമ്മിക ബോധത്തിൻ്റെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ വിവേചനത്തിൻ്റെ, വിവേകത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഉത്തരമാണ് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ പഠിച്ച അറിവ് കൊണ്ട്, ജ്ഞാനം കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നേടിയ, എൻ്റെ അറിവ് കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നേടിയ, ഞാൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ ഈ വസ്തു നശിപ്പിക്കാൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കണോ അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിർമ്മിതിക്ക് വേണ്ടി ഉപയോഗിക്കണം. നിങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും തന്നെ നിർമ്മാണ രംഗം കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്നവരാണ്. സംസ്കാരവും ഒരു നിർമ്മിതിയാണ്. സംസ്കാരത്തെ നമ്മൾ നിർമ്മിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. നിർമ്മിക്കുന്നത് പോലെ തന്നെ നശിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന ഒന്നിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് സംസ്കാരം എന്നുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും ആലോചിക്കാറുണ്ട്, എല്ലാ ടെക്നിക്കൽ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളും എല്ലാ പ്രൊഫഷണൽ കോഴ്സുകളും പഠിച്ചിരിക്കേണ്ടതാണ് സാഹിത്യവും ഭാഷയും. ഭാഷ എൻ്റെ വിഷയമായതുകൊണ്ടല്ല ഞാനീ പറയുന്നത്. കാരണം നാം പകുതി മനുഷ്യരാകുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ അറിവ് കൊണ്ടാണ്. അറിവ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നാം പഠിക്കുന്ന പാഠ്യവിഷയങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് നാം ആർജിക്കുന്ന അറിവ് കൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ പകുതി മനുഷ്യരെ ആകുന്നുള്ളൂ. പകുതി മനുഷ്യർ നാം ആകണമെങ്കിൽ നാം ജീവിക്കുന്ന സമൂഹത്തെ അറിയണം. നാം ജീവിക്കുന്ന സമൂഹത്തെ നമ്മൾ അറിയണമെങ്കിൽ നാം സംസാരിക്കുന്ന ഭാഷയെ അറിയണം. ആ ഭാഷാ സമൂഹത്തെ അറിയണം. കാരണം നമ്മൾ എന്താണോ അതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷയിലുള്ളത്. നമ്മൾ എന്തല്ലയോ അതൊന്നും നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷയിലില്ല. ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു ഉദാഹരണം പറയാം. നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ ആവശ്യമില്ലാത്ത കുറേ വസ്തുക്കളുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ പുതിയ വസ്തുക്കൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യമില്ലാത്ത കുറേ വസ്തുക്കളുണ്ട്. ആ വസ്തുക്കളൊന്നും നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ, വർത്തമാനകാല ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ഭാഷയും നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യമില്ല. അപ്പോൾ നാം എന്താണോ അതറിയണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷ പഠിക്കണം. നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷ അറിയാത്ത ഒരാൾക്ക് നമ്മളെ അറിയണമെങ്കിൽ, ഒരു റഷ്യക്കാരന് നമ്മളെ അറിയണമെങ്കിൽ കുറേയൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷ പഠിച്ചാൽ മതിയാകും. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷയും ആ ഭാഷയിലെ സാഹിത്യവും സാംസ്കാരിക നിർമ്മിതികളും പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഒരു വ്യക്തി പൂർണ്ണം ആകുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ പൂർണ്ണമായ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയെ നിർമ്മിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളത് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൻ്റെ പരമമായിട്ടുള്ള ലക്ഷ്യം ആണ്. നമ്മളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം വളരെ വളരെ വലിയ ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് സത്യത്തിൽ സ്മൈൽസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സാമ്പത്തികമായി ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ എല്ലാവർക്കും സൗജന്യവും സാർവത്രികവുമായ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം നൽകാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല എന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല, പഠിപ്പുള്ളവർക്ക് നല്ല തരത്തിലുള്ള, കഴിവുള്ളവർക്ക്, സമ്പന്നർക്ക് നല്ല തരത്തിലുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസവും സമ്പന്നരല്ലാത്തവർക്ക് മറ്റൊരു തരത്തിലുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസവും എന്നിങ്ങനെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൻ്റെ ഇതിൽ തന്നെ വർഗീകരണം സംഭവിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. വളരെ വലിയ വർഗീകരണം അതിൽ നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ ആരെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാകണം. ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിനെ പൂരിപ്പിക്കാൻ സന്മനസ്സുകളെ കൊണ്ട് ആവും. അപ്പോൾ ആ സന്മനസ്സുണ്ടാവുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു കാര്യമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. ചാരിറ്റി പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളോടൊക്കെ ആദ്യമൊക്കെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നിയിരുന്നു, എനിക്ക് വ്യക്തിപരമായിട്ട് തോന്നിയിരുന്നു, ദാനം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു വ്യക്തിയെ ചെറുതാക്കുന്ന ഒന്നാണ്. യേശു പറയാറുണ്ട്, നിൻ്റെ വലത്തെ കൈ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇടത്തെ കൈ അറിയരുത്. അത് ദാനം ഒരു തരം കുനിഞ്ഞ് വാങ്ങലാണ്. അതിനാൽ തന്നെ ദാനം ചെയ്യുന്നവനും ദാനം കൊടുക്കുന്നവനും ഇല്ലാത്തൊരു സൊസൈറ്റിയാണ് നമ്മൾ സ്വപ്നം കാണേണ്ടത്. എല്ലാവർക്കും തുല്യതയുള്ള, തുല്യ അവസരങ്ങളുള്ള, തുല്യമായ സാമ്പത്തിക അവസ്ഥയുള്ള, എല്ലാ തരത്തിലും തുല്യതയുള്ളൊരു സമൂഹത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സ്വപ്നം കാണേണ്ടത്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു രാജ്യത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ നിർമ്മിക്കേണ്ടത്. പക്ഷെ നിർഭാഗ്യവശാൽ നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യം കൂടുതൽ വിഭാഗീയമായി പോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന, പലതരത്തിൽ സാമ്പത്തികമായി, സാമൂഹികമായി, ജാതിപരമായി ഒക്കെ വിവേചനം അനുഭവിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു രാജ്യമാണ്. അതിനാൽ തന്നെ സപ്പോർട്ട് കൊടുക്കാൻ ആളുകൾ ഉണ്ടാവണം. ഗവൺമെൻറ് കാണാത്തത്, ഗവൺമെൻറ് ചെയ്യാത്തത്, അഴിമതി മുങ്ങിയ ഒരു സർക്കാരിനെ സഹായിക്കുന്നതിന് വളരെ പരിമിതികൾ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. കാരണം അഴിമതിക്കാണ് അവിടെ പ്രാധാന്യം. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോൾ വേദന അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന മനുഷ്യർക്ക്, സഹായമില്ലാത്ത മനുഷ്യർക്ക്, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്ക് പോഷകാഹാരം തൊട്ട് കലാലയ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം വരെ കൊടുക്കാൻ സപ്പോർട്ടുകൾ ആവശ്യമാണ്. പോഷകാഹാരമില്ലാത്ത കൊണ്ട് മരിച്ചു പോകുന്ന ഒരുപാട് കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളുണ്ട്. അമർത്യ സെന്നിൻ്റെ വളരെ പ്രസിദ്ധമായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു നിരീക്ഷണമുണ്ട്. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലെ ആളുകൾക്ക് ഇത്രയധികം BP-യും കൊളസ്ട്രോളും ഹാർട്ട് അറ്റാക്കൊക്കെ വരുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതിന് അമർത്യ സെൻ പറയുന്നൊരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്. പോഷകാഹാരം ലഭിക്കാതെ കണ്ട അമ്മമാർ പ്രസവിച്ച കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളാണ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള രോഗങ്ങൾക്ക് വളരെ വേഗത്തിൽ ഇരയാകുന്നത് എന്ന്. പോഷകാഹാരം ലഭിക്കാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് അമ്മമാർ ഗർഭത്തിലിരിക്കെ ആ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ അനുഭവിച്ച പോഷകാഹാരക്കുറവ്, ആ അമ്മമാരുടെ പോഷകാഹാരക്കുറവ്, ഇതാണ് ഭാവിയിലെ BP ആയിട്ടും മറ്റൊക്കെ നമ്മളെ ഒരു രോഗാതുര സമൂഹമാക്കുന്നതെന്ന് തന്നെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ തരത്തിലും ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ ഭക്ഷണം തൊട്ട് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം തൊട്ട് എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തിലും മനുഷ്യർക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് ആവശ്യമാണ്. ഈ സപ്പോർട്ട് കൊടുക്കേണ്ട സന്മനസ്സുകൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വളരെ അപൂർവമാണ്. സ്മൈൽസിൻ്റെ പ്രസക്തി, അതിൻ്റെ പ്രാധാന്യവും അവിടെയാണ്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കുട്ടികൾ, എനിക്കെന്നെ അറിയാം, ഓരോ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് വളരെ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് പഠിച്ച് അറിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ സംസാരിച്ച ആ ആദിവാസി പയ്യൻ, അയാൾ വീട്ടിൽ വന്നിരുന്നു. ആ കുട്ടിയുടെ സന്തോഷം പറഞ്ഞറിയിക്കാനാവാത്ത ഒന്നാണ്. കാരണം അയാൾക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണാൻ കഴിയാത്തൊരു ഉയരത്തിലേക്ക് സ്മൈൽസ് അയാളെ കയറ്റി വിടുകയാണ്. അയാൾക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണാൻ കഴിയില്ല. അയാൾക്ക് പണം കൊടുത്തിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ ആരെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടോ എത്തിപ്പെടാൻ കഴിയാത്ത ഒരു ഉയരത്തിലേക്ക് ആ കുട്ടിയെ കയറ്റി വിടുകയും അയാൾ നേടുകയും ചെയ്തു. ട്രസ്റ്റ് എന്നൊരു വാക്ക് അതിലെ ഒരു കുട്ടി ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. എന്നിൽ വെച്ച ട്രസ്റ്റ്, അത് വിദ്യാർത്ഥിയുടെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നും കൂടി അയാൾക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്നൊരു ഉത്തരവാദിത്വം കൂടിയാണ്. സ്മൈൽസ് പോലെയുള്ള സംഘടന എനിക്ക് തന്ന സപ്പോർട്ടിനെ തിരിച്ച് സമൂഹത്തിന് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട് എന്ന ഒരു നല്ല തോന്നൽ ആ കുഞ്ഞിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ടാണ് അവൾ സംസാരിച്ചപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ട്രസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു വാക്ക് ഉപയോഗിച്ചത്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഈ വലിയ നല്ല പുഞ്ചിരിക്ക് ലോകത്തെ സമാധാനിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് കഴിയും എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. ഇനിയുള്ളത് അഞ്ജിതയുടെ എൻഡോവ്മെൻ്റ് വിതരണമാണ്. ഇത് എനിക്ക് വളരെയധികം അറിയുന്ന വളരെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ഒരു കുട്ടി. നമുക്കറിയാം, മനുഷ്യർക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതം അവിചാരിതങ്ങളുടെ യാദൃശ്ചികതകളുടെ ഒക്കെ ഒരു ഒഴുക്കാണ്. അതിനിടയിൽ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ സംഭവിച്ചു പോകുന്ന വളരെ ദുഃഖകരമായ അനുഭവങ്ങൾ വന്നേക്കാം. പക്ഷേ അതിനെ എങ്ങനെയാണ്, ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളിൽ പലർക്കും അറിയാവുന്ന എൻ്റെ ഒരു സുഹൃത്തിനെ പറ്റി ഞാനിവിടെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കാം. ഷീബ അമീർ, സൊലേസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സംഘടനയുടെ സാരഥിയായിട്ടുള്ള ഷീബ അമീർ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പെൺകുട്ടി, ഒരു സ്ത്രീ. അവൾ എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്താണ്. ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന പലരുടെയും സുഹൃത്തായിരിക്കാം. ഷീബയുടെ മകള് ക്യാൻസർ രോഗബാധിതയായിട്ട് മരിച്ചു പോവാണ്. മഹാദുഃഖം ആയിരുന്നു. ആ കുട്ടിയെ ചികിത്സിക്കാൻ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് അവിടെ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ തനിക്ക് പണമുള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് താൻ തൻ്റെ മകളെ ചികിത്സിക്കുന്നു. പണമില്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് മരുന്ന് വാങ്ങാൻ പോലും പൈസയില്ലാതെ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളെ വരാന്തയിൽ കിടത്തി വിലപിക്കുന്ന അച്ഛനമ്മമാരെ കാണുകയാണ്. അന്ന് തീരുമാനിച്ചു, പണമില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു കുട്ടിയും ചികിത്സിക്കപ്പെടാതിരിക്കരുത്. ഒരു പേരൻസിനും കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾ നഷ്ടപ്പെടരുത്, പണമില്ലാത്തതിൻ്റെ പേരിൽ മാത്രം. അന്ന് തീരുമാനിച്ചു ഷീബ അതിനെപ്പറ്റി പറയുന്നത്, ഒരു കയ്യിൽ എൻ്റെ നീലു എന്ന് പറയുന്ന എൻ്റെ മകളെയും മറ്റേ കയ്യിൽ ഈ ഭാവിയിൽ രൂപം കൊണ്ട സൊലസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആശയത്തെയും മുറുകെ പിടിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവൾ ആ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൻ്റെ പടി ഇറങ്ങിയത്. ഇന്ന് ലോകരാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ മുഴുവനും ലോകരാജ്യങ്ങൾ മുഴുവനും സ്വീകരിക്കുന്ന, വളർത്തിക്കൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കുന്ന ക്യാൻസർ ബാധിതരായിട്ടുള്ള ദീർഘകാല രോഗത്തിന് വിധേയരായിട്ടുള്ള കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങൾക്ക് സാമ്പത്തികവും മറ്റുമൊക്കെ ആയിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ തരത്തിലുള്ള സഹായങ്ങളും കൊടുക്കുന്ന സൊലസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു വലിയ സംഘടനയായിട്ട് ആ മഹാദുഃഖം പരിണമിച്ചു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ദുഃഖത്തെ നമുക്ക് പരിണമിപ്പിക്കാം, അത് വികാസമാണ്. ഇന്ന് അനേകം അഞ്ജിതമാരുടെ മുഖത്ത് ചിരി വിടർത്താൻ ഈ ഒരു എൻഡോവ്മെൻറ്റിനെ സാധിക്കുമെങ്കിൽ അതിനേക്കാൾ സാർത്ഥകമായിട്ട് എന്തുണ്ട്? നമുക്ക് വരുന്ന യാദൃശ്ചികമായിട്ടുള്ള ആഘാതങ്ങൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമുക്ക് തടയാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒന്നല്ല. പക്ഷെ നമുക്കതിനെ തടയുന്നതിന് മറികടക്കാനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പറ്റും. ആഘാതത്തെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതുണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ള നഷ്ടത്തെ നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെ പലതിലേക്ക് വികസിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും. അതിനാൽ വളരെ അർത്ഥവത്തായിട്ടുള്ള ഈ എൻഡോവ്മെൻ്റ് പുരസ്കാരം ആദ്യം നേടിയ കുട്ടി, അത് ആരാണെന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല, ആ കുട്ടിക്ക് എൻ്റെ എല്ലാ അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങളും. മക്കൾ ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കാൻ കുറേയധികം സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് പറയാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത്, നമ്മൾ നിർമ്മാണ രംഗത്ത് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നവരെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം നിർമ്മാണം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മളെ ഭൗതികമായ അർത്ഥത്തിൽ ഉള്ള നിർമ്മാണം മാത്രമല്ല, നാം നിർമ്മിക്കുന്നത് എന്തിന് എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യമാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ മനസ്സിൽ എല്ലായ്പ്പോഴും ഉണ്ടാകേണ്ടത്. അത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വെറും ഒരു തൊഴിൽ മാത്രമാകരുത്, അതിനൊരു ആത്മാവിനെ കൊടുക്കണം. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you, Professor Sarah Joseph, for a deeply moving and thought-provoking words. Your voice reminds us of the power of literature and activism to transform lives and minds. We are truly honored by your presence today. We now invite the President of Smiles, Mr. B.T.V. Krishnan, retired Chief Engineer, Harbour Engineering Department, one of the guiding forces behind Smiles, to address the audience. His vision and leadership continue to inspire this collective journey. Sir, we welcome you to the podium.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor Sarah Joseph, Architect Tanmay Tathagat, Principal Dr. Solomon P.A., Dr. Srilekha, HOD Civil, esteemed guests, students, parents, alumni, and dear members of Smiles. I am honored to stand before you on this auspicious occasion. Smiles began its journey to support the deserving students in the year 2018 with a humble focus of providing financial assistance to deserving students. Over a period of time, we decided to expand our domain to enhancing the quality of education and fostering professionalism and empowering students to reach their full potential, leveraging the diverse experience and knowledge of our members and close associates. We believe that the curriculum of civil engineering should be more project-oriented, thereby enabling fresh engineering graduates to handle their professional responsibilities independently. This thought process has led to the introduction of an award for the best project work done by students in memory of late Anjitha Suresh, daughter of our Smiles member Suresh Endowment. Today, we are proud to recognize and honor the outstanding work done by our students. After a meticulous selection process, where 8 project works were shortlisted by the college and 6 groups presented before the award jury, we selected the work optimizing seismic retrofitting procedure for RCC buildings done by Devika, Amal, Ajay, and Anand under the guidance of Professor Jigil Joseph as the best project of the year 2025. All 6 projects showcased exemplary standards, demonstrating exceptional talent and dedication of our students and commitment of the teachers who guided them. While evaluating the projects, various parameters such as technical relevance, social relevance, scope for future studies, etc. have also been taken into consideration, in addition to the technical excellence of the project. Therefore, the project recognized with this award may differ from the one that performed the best in other academic assessments, as the selection reflects a more comprehensive evaluation approach. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the students and faculty members who guided them to deliver such an outstanding work. There was a request to introduce a second prize, but due to our limited resources and significant commitments, we could not consider it this time. We hope to consider it in the future when we are better equipped. As this is the first year of the award, we did not have sufficient time to interact with the students and ensure their participation in organizing the event. However, we are committed to improving and hope to involve the students more actively in organizing and coordinating events going forward, making them more impactful and meaningful. Once again, I congratulate the winners, their guide, and express our sincere gratitude to the college authorities, Principal Dr. Solomon, Dr. Srilekha, HOD Civil, and all the faculty members for their unwavering support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words, an address that gently reminded us why leadership begins with compassion. There are moments in a student's journey that stand still in time. Moments when hard work, sleepless nights, and unshaken determination are celebrated in front of very community that shaped them. Today, we arrive at such a moment. The Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award is not merely a recognition of academic excellence. It's a heartful tribute to vision, perseverance, and purpose. This award honors the finest civil engineering B.TECH project headed Optimizing Retrofitting Procedures for RCC Buildings, of the graduating batch 2024-2025, one that blends technical mastery with thoughtful aim. In a world that moves fast, this award reminds us to pause and celebrate not just success, but meaningful success. To present this esteemed award, I now invite our chief guest, literary legend, Professor Sarah Joseph, and our keynote speaker, and the sustainability visionary, architect Tanmay Tadgar, to kindly join us on stage. The recipient of Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award 2025 are Anand B. Vishnu, Ajay, Amal Anto, Devika N., under the guidance of Professor Jigil Joseph from Department of Civil Engineering, GEC Thrissur.
As a token of our heartfelt gratitude, we would now like to honor our esteemed guests with a memento of appreciation. I first invite Professor Sarah Joseph, our chief guest, to kindly come forward and receive the memento by our principal. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I invite our keynote speaker, architect Tanmay Tadgar, to come forward and receive the memento as a symbol of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. Now, to give us a glimpse into the work that earned this year's Best Civil Engineering Project Award, we now invite Professor Jigil Joseph and the student team to present a short video on their project. Let us turn our attention to the screen. Thank you.
Optimizing seismic retrofitting procedure for RCC buildings is a B.TECH project done by students of Civil Engineering Department of Government Engineering College, Thrissur. The project team includes Devika N., Amal Anto, Ajay A.R., and Anand B. Vishnu, under the guidance of Assistant Professor Jigil Joseph of the Civil Engineering Department. We know earthquakes pose a serious threat to buildings, especially older reinforced concrete structures. They can cause cracks, shear failures, and in extreme cases total collapse. This is where retrofitting plays a vital role. Retrofitting improves a building's resistance to seismic forces by strengthening its structural components, thereby helping to safeguard lives and minimize property loss. The project addresses one key question: does your building require seismic retrofitting? To answer this, we developed an intelligent and user-friendly web platform. Users can simply input a set of building parameters into the web page. The system then compares the input parameter values with reference data stored within the system to assess structural condition. If the deviations of these values exceed the allowable range fixed based on IS code standards and other global guidelines, the system recommends retrofitting based on the analysis. The prediction model was built using a diverse dataset representing various story heights, flow areas, and structural configurations, ensuring the tool is both comprehensive and reliable. The final solution goes beyond structural engineering by supporting public safety. It supports public safety by identifying retrofitting needs early. This enables timely interventions, reducing the risk of major failures and protecting occupants from harm. This project showcases the integration of engineering expertise with data-driven intelligence. We applied computational techniques, including machine learning, to enhance the accuracy and speed of retrofitting predictions. The result is a powerful decision-making tool that is designed for engineers, architects, and building owners. It streamlines the process of evaluating seismic risk and provides actionable recommendations. At present, the system is tailored to concrete jacketing, a widely used retrofitting method. But we plan to broaden its scope by including alternative retrofitting techniques and eventually to rehabilitation and reconstruction strategies. We also aim to expand the parameter set for more precise assessments of structural health. This project illustrates how modern technology can be applied to one of our most urgent challenges, seismic safety. By making retrofitting decisions smarter, faster, and more accessible, we help build safer communities, one structure at a time. This project was selected as the Best B.TECH project of 2025 and will receive the Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award. Thank you.
Respected guests on the dais, teachers, and my dear friends. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Smiles team on behalf of me and my team for giving us this award. Thank you. Then I would like to express our sincere gratitude and thanks to our guide, Professor Jigil Joseph, who had extremely helped us and guided us throughout this project. Last but not least, I would like to thank my fellow teammates with whom we have worked together to make this project a grand success. Speaking about the project, here we have developed a software which assesses the structural strength of building during an earthquake. Using this software, anybody can analyze that if a particular building is safe during the occurrence of an earthquake in that seismic zone, as mentioned in the video. We do not plan to end our project with this award. We would like to further continue our works based on this project. We have presented this idea to various startup promoting organizations so that we can develop this and further make it useful for the society. That's it about the project. With this, I conclude my words. Thank you all and have a great day ahead.
Now, we take a moment to honor the student project team whose work has stood out for its dedication and innovation. We kindly request the dignitaries on stage to do the honors presenting the mementos. Inviting on stage Ajay E.R., give him a big round of applause. Next, we welcome Anand B. Vishnu. Now calling Amal Anto. And finally, we invite Devika N. Congratulations. Congratulations to all four of you. May your journey ahead continue to be impactful and inspiring. There are architects who design buildings, and then there are visionaries who design better futures. In a world where concrete rises faster than consciousness, we are blessed today to welcome someone who has spent his life ensuring what we build never overshadows how we live. Sorry for the interruption. A champion of climate resilience, energy efficiency, and a human-centered design, architect Tanmay Thathagat is a name that quietly shapes our skylines and our policies, from bustling cities of Asia to the sunlit corridors of Arizona. For over 30 years, he has been at the frontier of green transformation, leading the EDS team of multidisciplinary professionals working on projects that do more than function, they breathe. Building and communities that are climate responsive, contextual, and focused on comfort without compromise. These are the blueprints of his vision. A graduate of School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, with a master's in building design from Arizona State University, he is a lead fellow, an IGBC fellow, and a Griha evaluator, and a guiding voice in India's march towards decarbonization. Ladies and gentlemen, let this moment be marked in memory as we invite to the stage a pioneer whose blueprint blends science, sustainability, and soul, architect Tanmay Thathagat, to illuminate us with his keynote vision.
Thank you. Disconnect the presentation. Okay. Yeah, take a moment. Should work. Just let me try that. Yeah, it's working from here. Let me plug it again. Oh, this one is fine. Just check it that end. It was working fine so far. Just unplug the connector at that end. So this is the Murphy's Law. We tested it before the session and it was fine. Just bear with us. Okay, let me give it one more shot. Make sure nothing is flickering.
was working fine. And let me try another connector if that works. Yeah. No, this is fine. I think I'm getting this. This connector is fine. I think just check the cable. Okay, anyway, meanwhile, while we wait for it. Oh, it's come. Perfect. Oh. Okay. If I don't touch anything. No. Okay. Let's hope it continues. But while we get another cable, I just wanted to start by thanking all of you, especially the faculty and the students, as well as, of course, the Team Smiles, which is such an inspiring event. And it's coincidence that while we were looking at the award ceremony, and my topic today was about building sustainably, one of the most important aspects of living and building sustainably is to make sure that whatever we build, whether it's a product or a building, has the longest possible life, and we avoid demolition and extend the useful life of our buildings. So while the awards were talking about safety, in my mind, that's the prerequisite to building sustainably. If you can extend the lives of our existing concrete structures, which the majority of our country is concrete, you're actually, it's one of the biggest contributions to building sustainably, is by not building more, by extending the life of existing structures. So I congratulate the team and, of course, the Smiles Foundation for selecting such an apt project. So the topic today I thought was about building sustainably, mostly because what do? Engineers build. Engineers solve the problems of today and, of course, the future. And when we talk about building, it's not just a building anything, a product or a system or a software. The idea of what is the effect of our work is on the planet, on the society, is it should be the foundation of any approach we take towards our future, our profession, our work, and of course, our lives. So building sustainably, of course, I come from the background of buildings and construction, but this applies to all of us and to our profession. So as was introduced, I work for Environmental Design Solutions. We are a consulting firm. We work in the area of sustainability, and for the last 25 years have been looking at all kinds of problems and solutions. And we are a multidisciplinary team with a lot of architects, civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and a lot of people on the ground, social science people, to look at sustainability in a holistic way. Over the years, we've worked across the world. We have ongoing work, and the current focus of all of our work is coming more and more into how do you look at the future of cities, future of people in the cities. So it's not just the building or the environment, it's closely integrated with the people and the society, right? And of course, I'm humbled by being here in the presence of all of you and in Kerala, because it does not, I mean, it cannot be more sustainable than this. I've always had this admiration for the people and the culture and the whole ethos of living simply and sustainability that people here have embodied. From buildings here, you can see it in your day-to-day lives. From some of the pioneering work of sustainability in buildings, Laurie Baker's work, it's all from Kerala. And in my professional work, you know, when I came back to India in 2002, 3, one of the first large projects, first one was, of course, I'll talk about it, but the second one was in Trivandrum. It's the TCS campus in Trivandrum. And after that, we did a lot of work in new projects, the old cities. And at that time, even from a government side, Energy Management Center in Kerala has been a pioneering agency and effort in looking at sustainability in the building sector in the country. So with that, I'll quickly start that, you know, our need for shelter started long ago. We started by living in caves with simple dwellings in mountains, in basic shelters to protect ourselves from the harsh elements of nature. And of course, moving from the trees to structure, it became more evolved. It became a little bit more structured. But as you can see, more and more, it's use of natural elements, natural material, and with very little long-term environmental damage to the environment is how we all evolved our shelter, our habitat, right? And it was all according to climate. So if it's a hot, dry, desert climate, you build in mud. If it's a wet climate, you build raised from the ground, you avoid floods, you build with wood that is available, you build with thatch. So traditional cities have always evolved out of that respect for resources, for environment. But this is where we want to be now. You know, this is our aspiration. Our traditional housing, again, has been very responsive to the climate, to the needs of people, and the life which was centered around the sun and the wind and the moon. But this is our new urban context. Our traditional streets were all, again, based on elements of natural ventilation, shading. But this is our new cities. This is new Raipur. And, you know, all it's the hottest part of the country, and you see there is not a shade. The whole design is not appropriate for what you'd want to be. So, and a lot of it is also change in our lifestyles and how buildings have moved to being artificially conditioned and controlled as being the primary method of providing comfort, right? So before we had air conditioning and you went to visit countries and cities across the world, you'd find a difference based on the climate and the local resources. So whether this is Jaisalmer or in Jeddah or in South Africa, you'd find different structures. But today, it's Nairobi or Mumbai or Cape Town or LA, it's all the same. There is no difference in our way of building or construction which responds to the nature, which responds to the climate, or which responds to how people would live in different environments, right? And all of these things why is it important? Because it has an environmental impact. Buildings use energy. Buildings use water. Buildings create pollution in their operations. So how buildings consume energy? You know, one of the key elements that you have is the benign power of wind or sun, but that's solar energy or the radiation also produces heat. It gets captured in buildings that are not appropriately designed. And then that contributes to, for example, our cooling load. If buildings are not well lit from natural light, then you need artificial lighting, right? So how many of you aspire to work in buildings like this, right? This is every engineer I know wants to work in one of these buildings. And I've worked with projects, whether it is IT campuses. This is, of course, the DLF in Gurgaon. This is the paradigm of where we are today, right? But what does it do? Have you ever seen any of these buildings? Look at that building there. It's all glass, but majority of those places have the blinds down. You can see the white shades that everyone has a shade on, right? Look at this one. So what does a building like that do, right? It increases the heat gain inside the building. It traps the heat inside. There is very little daylight because the moment, although it is all glass, you pull the blind down, so you need to now, it's dark inside. You need to have the lights on. Therefore, the lighting is up. And of course, inside, you have cold air being blasted to cool down the building. On the other side, you have a very hot surface, a hot glass close to which you're sitting. So there's extreme discomfort also. So despite all of these issues, and people face these challenges all the time, we continue to build like this. This is our aspiration, right? We need to understand the consequence of what we are building. So sustainability in the built environment is about energy, water, the effect our construction has on neighborhoods, on cities, on urban areas, and of course the larger pollution that it creates, right? Because it's not just the building. When you're looking at buildings, it's also all the materials that get extracted. As civil engineers, you have to be cognizant of what is the impact of the main building tools that you're using, of the products you're using. So cement, concrete, steel, aluminum, all of them are very resource intensive and polluting in their extraction, right? They're mining for energy. So every time you see there's cement, it requires intense amount of heat. Steel from extraction requires a lot of energy. So all of this is primarily driven by non-renewable energy in the country. And of course, water is there in every aspect of how we use products, material, and ultimately, when buildings are not responsive, then they also contribute to heating the surroundings. It's called the urban heat island effect, right? And finally, when you look at the process of construction, from excavation to drilling to assembly, demolition, all of it is causing localized pollution as well where the construction is happening. So, of course, the final product is useful and required. We do need buildings, we do need cities. But can we avoid the negative impact on the environment and the society, right? Can we manage our things better? Can we have buildings and our construction activities not causing, let's say, air quality problem? I mean, all of you will move to different cities after graduating and you'll travel. You see the impact, immense impact of construction on air quality in places all across the country, right? So this intensity of approach is causing very adverse environmental impact, and it is of course affecting us, all of us, our health, our lives. So there is a response to that. As a country, India has committed that we will move towards net zero, have a climate action. And this again is extremely important from all of your professional futures, because where is everything culminating, right? Even though we are making a lot of progress, we are committed to, for example, reduce the carbon intensity of our economy by 45%, reduce the emissions by 1 billion tons over the next 5 years. And the idea is to reduce our overall emissions from operating our buildings, from our transport, from our commute over the next almost 40, 45 years. 2070 is the net zero energy goal for the country, although many say that it'll be too late. We probably should move much faster towards negating the impact of our environment. So as you move towards a future career, anything that we do, any work that we take up, will be guided by these larger things that are happening, right? And we have to look at how can we do our work where a building in the traditional way, we take a building material, end of the life, it becomes waste. We have energy that comes into the building, it becomes wasted heat, CO2 problems and sulfur dioxide from generators and stuff. Fresh water becomes sewage. This is a one-way problem. You take good things, you take resources, you put it into our lives, into buildings, and what comes out is a problem. What is good engineering? Good engineering is closing the loop. Can we process? Can we eliminate? Can we reduce? Is it possible to use the construction waste for building new buildings so that it doesn't become waste? Is it possible that we use energy sources that don't pollute, or we reduce our energy uses? Can the fresh water be reduced and whatever comes out reused in the buildings? Again, as engineers, and especially civil engineers, you're looking at and addressing all of these problems in your day-to-day jobs, right? So the future is that, as we move towards cities, India is going to be one of the largest urbanized areas in the world, and that activity of construction will be guided by engineers like you and people who will be responsible for it. So we have to shape our futures, and you are shaping that future. I did talk about the energy use in buildings. The other aspect we talked about is what is called the embodied emissions or embodied energy of materials. Every material that you use is a process that uses energy and has carbon emissions. So it's called the embodied emissions or the embodied carbon of the material, right? And what is on a day-to-day basis, the energy used in running the building, running your STP plant, running your air conditioning, that is called the operational carbon of the building. If you look at the overall global CO2 emissions, about 28% comes from building operations, right? About 11% comes from building material. So the steel and cement sector are two big ones. And about 10% comes from other building materials, the finishes and the stone and all tiles and all the other things. So overall, this is the impact that buildings have on the overall emissions globally. It's such a huge chunk, right? So you can save energy by doing better buildings, cooling, heating, lighting, appliances. And the move now is to move towards net zero energy buildings, right? That means buildings that are very efficient, use very little energy, and produce enough energy on the building, on the site, to offset that entire annual energy use. So it's like a balance between your energy use and energy produced on site to create net zero energy buildings. This is the future, and this is what, of course, you will find lots of new projects and buildings and communities following this path, right? Where renewable energy is integrated as a part of the building. This is from a campus in Pune, Suzlon campus, where there's shading, there's a windmill in the center, that's a small windmill, 5 kilowatt windmills on the campus, and photovoltaic panels embedded in the roof that generate enough energy. So the idea is you take all the carbon emissions in the building, in the operation, in the embodied, in the demolition, and you try to produce as much renewable energy as possible, at the very least to offset your basic energy use on a monthly basis, maybe excluding the appliances, but ideally enough to offset the entire carbon and the entire emissions, right? And there are different definitions of it. You don't need to go into the detail, but net zero operation or the whole life net zero. So ideal is, the future is that in many countries, the code says that anything that you build has to be net zero whole life carbon. And that's the direction that all new construction will go in. But that's beyond that, even more to it. It's also about how do you maximize the value of what is in the building by doing smart operations. So the next generation is what is called a grid interactive net zero energy buildings. That means you can't make solar panels on every building to make it net zero, right? So you have to have something that can be using the green energy or the renewable energy from some other site. If there's a windmill in Chennai, if there's a solar plant in some part of the country, So the future of the building is where you're producing as much as you can on the site, and the rest you're interacting with the larger electricity grid to use the most renewable, most efficient energy as possible, right? So how do you get to this net zero? There are 5 steps. 1, good design. 2, use energy efficient equipment. 3, integrate renewable energy. 4, whatever appliances and equipment you use need to be as efficient as possible. And the last one, which is the most important, is your lifestyle and operation. How do you can have the most efficient air conditioner, but if it's running at a very low temperature throughout the day, it'll use up more energy. So how do you manage? How do you be frugal? And all of this put together is a net zero energy building. This is the formula. So as engineers, you're designing for energy efficiency, looking at the best possible glass, looking at the best cooling system, proper shading, insulation, etc. You're looking at maximizing natural light inside the building so that the building responds and you don't need artificial lighting for it. You're looking at good, efficient cooling systems, which are natural. There are systems that use the geothermal energy. There are systems that use solar energy to produce cooling. And of course, bring in and have energy efficient appliances and integrate renewable energy. This formula is so simple, and this is something you can almost think of as a process for making your own house to the largest cities in the future. One important aspect I talked about is the material impact, the embodied carbon. And that's a lot more complex. It looks like a very simple process. You go to the market, you go to a site and select the best material. But what is the best? So it has to be based on environmental impact, its economic impact, of course. It has to be affordable. Its physical properties, its life, its acoustics, the performance, like this panel for acoustics, is it performing the function? Is it dampening my sound? Of course, all those things. And of course, the social impact. Building material and building construction is also one of the largest employers in the country. So there's a large social impact of construction and building materials that one needs to consider. So what looks like a very simple decision, there are like 25 points you need to consider when actually saying is comparing your choices, right? So the future of net zero building is buildings that give back the land, consume local renewable resources, produce energy, use very little water, bring people closer to the environment, and produce no waste. This is where we need to go. The next few minutes, I'll talk about some aspects of how do you do that, what are the examples, and as engineers, what are the tools available, especially as you look at the profession and the future. So we saw again in the winning prize entry that use of IT, use of AI, and use of smart analytics is going to affect all of our decision making. So it makes our life to some extent easier. But in my work, the core activity of modeling and estimating what would be the impact of your decision. If I make a building like this and I change the orientation, what would be the impact? Will it use less energy or more energy? Will it be less comfortable or more comfortable? Those decisions you cannot make after you've constructed. It's too late. So there's something called building modeling or energy simulation that lets you assess that you can play with it, make a virtual model of your building and try all your design before you actually make it. And it can be very exciting, it can be very conceptual, but it can also be very detailed. So from design decisions to engineering decisions can be taken that empowers the engineer to take the guesswork out. You can actually design what is optimum, right? It's quite a complex process if you think about it, that it requires an understanding of buildings, materials, climate, but overall, it's a simple concept. The concept is you can create a virtual model with the properties of the material that you have. For all across the world, there are detailed climate models, climate files available. So, for example, in India, there are about like 50 cities, 50, not just cities, places from where you have detailed hour by hour energy, temperature, humidity, lighting, moisture data. So you can take your building model, you can take that climate data and actually model how hour by hour, and you can say, the building starts operation at 9 o'clock when students come to the class, there's a lunch break at 1 o'clock, and you can create a virtual reality which can show what will be the impact of this. This is how it looks simply, but behind the scene, it's all the codes and nodes and the mathematics and the engineering behind to make that work. These are, everything is an equation that powers this. But with today's technology, it's a very simple input. As long as you understand the basic science, you don't need to see this. You can create a model with your drawings and get all those answers. Some of those are about design. This is another project which was about using analytics to see how much photovoltaics can be added to a project. So we added to the canopy, to the car parking porch, and with the placement of the buildings, sorry, you can't see the thing at the bottom, but you can model every month how much of this will be in shade, how much of it will get the sun, so that you can estimate accurately how much energy will be produced. This is all done through that modeling exercise. So, it helped us decide how much photovoltaic panels to put. Another example of modeling is if you design a new air conditioning system, where do you place the fans? How do you design the sizing? So this one, I don't know if it runs, is a model which is called a CFD, Computational Fluid Dynamics, that tells us the temperature effect and the effect of cooling in a space with fans and cooling air conditioning systems. A similar one is a simulation of daylight inside a building. So you can see any time of the day and see how much natural light I'm getting at every surface. So you can size the windows right. You can say this kind of glass needs to be used. This kind of heights are required, right? And you can see the variation of that through the year. Yeah, again, I don't know if you can see the bottom image, but you can choose one day and you can see how the sun moves and what is the effect that has on natural light. There are many exemplary examples, and I'm just fortunate that we've been part of many of those in this country and globally. But one of the best examples of adopting sustainability in both design and operations has been one of our first clients, the first building in India that was platinum, the first building outside which was certified to be green was the ITC. And Mr. Vidya Prakash has been pioneering that work from the very first building in, I think, 2003 on to become a whole chain. And this is something that you'll see when you go across the country, now internationally as well, where the buildings that follow all the things that I talked about. Everything, the process of optimization, design is there. That one, this is one of the first big projects to do that. This is in RTC Gardenia in Bangalore. And this is the first one that started this all, it's called the ITC Green Center. And when it came out, everyone in the world was amazed because outside of the US, it was the first certified building of this kind. And it stands till day as being one of the most efficient buildings. But since then, we worked on all of these projects. We worked, maybe later you can all mob Mr. Vidya Prakash and ask more about this particular project, which is the most recent one, the hotel in Colombo, which got the highest rating, has all the features we talked about, building envelope, sites, on occupancy, on health. And this is the analytics that went behind it. How do you get the right shading? How do you get the right orientation of the floors? This is work, I was just looking at my files. This was all done in 2015. So like it's taken 8-9 years for all of this to come to fruition. But it's so satisfying to see all those design options and recommendations and analytics translating into real performance of a building today, right? Everything about what will be the lighting level and what will be the temperatures. Another good example, and this is something I tell a lot of people to go and see. I've taken so many people to see. This is ITC Kohinoor in Hyderabad, a building that follows a lot of these principles of sustainability and design, including renewable energy, waste reduction, materials and everything. Another, if you go to the east, there's a Royal Bengal in Kolkata. Again, has a lot of these environmental features, health features. A lot of analytics were done for this as well. And then it comes to the existing hotel. So this, as a group, has embodied the philosophy of sustainability. And I would say that, this for me is a great example I give all the time, that you can look at the future, design something for that, and look at your existing portfolio, existing buildings, and make them green as well. Some of the new campuses of institutes that have come up are also notable for being net zero and green. So Nalanda University campus just got inaugurated by the Prime Minister a few months ago. It's a net zero energy, water, waste, and net zero carbon campus. And you can see this, it has a lot of features, from how the walls are made to how the cooling is done. It has its own 6 megawatt solar plant. And this includes a biomass which is based on the waste material from fields across to power the building at night. And this, which I find very fascinating, is how construction material, the entire project is made out of earth that is excavated on site. So they made a small patching plant, a simple machine like this, that takes the soil, mixes it with some basic things, and creates these blocks that the entire construction. So in terms of low embodied material, it's a very, very low. And all of this was designed very scientifically. The mix was all decided by Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore. They evaluated the soil, they evaluated all the mixes and said this is what will sustain. And in a very humid climate like that, these unfired bricks, this compressed earth bricks, are serving as the envelope material for the project. So it's not the site, it's not the technology, it's the design and the thought behind it. And that can go anywhere. I mean, this is a very remote site in Bihar, in Nalanda. It's, the nearest airport is also 100 kilometers away. And there also you can make a net zero energy, water, and waste campus. A few other examples, you can look through. This Jaguar headquarter building has renewable energy integrated, has a very interesting cooling system, renewable energy centers across the country. This is the Indian Green Building Council's office in Hyderabad. This is a very interesting example of an amazing project called Humanscapes from Auroville, built out of, you see these walls, that's something called poured earth. It's essentially just like you make concrete, but instead of putting in the concrete mix, it's primarily soil and aggregates, and I think it's less than 6 or 7% binding material and cement. And it's performing wonderfully. And of course, in India, one of the biggest challenges is housing, affordable housing, and even that can be made sustainably. This is an example of a project we did for Lucknow Development Authority. This is affordable housing, and all these buildings were designed with all the elements for an affordable housing project where it's extremely low budget. The final, these houses, about 350 square feet houses, the construction cost was about 6 lakhs. So you can do it at scale and still do it sustainably. It's possible to do that, right? All this and a lot of the other information you can find. We have a portal that we operate called Net Zero Energy Building Portal, nzep.in, where you'll find all kinds of information, knowledge center, case studies, policies, and of course a network that you can connect to. So finally, from a future perspective, and for now, as I said, I'm coming back to the point, we have to build sustainably. We have to build a new way of living and working, which comes from design and engineering. People will only change once the environment and the built environment around us is conducive to that. And the synergy of building, energy, carbon, it's all at every stage of decision making, from when you're making a power plant to procuring an equipment to an occupant deciding what set point of temperature you want, what kind of cooling, do you want to open a window or switch on a fan. So we have to shift this scale. We have to move towards a net zero future. And I feel that with today's knowledge, tools, and the sensitivity of the community, which is all of you and all of us, you have to just think in that direction. You have to think that every decision that you take in your life, and even more so in your profession, has to be rooted in sustainability. Thank you. Namaskar.
Students can ask questions.
Questions, comments, thoughts?
Hello, audible alle?
Yes.
Can I speak in Malayalam?
No, unfortunately, not yet.
Thank you. LEAD has started a new program for operating buildings, right? Can you explain it?
Yes, of course. So, you know, design is one thing. Most of the environmental impact of building is in operations. So, for a building that is operating, the use of energy, the use of water, the production of waste and management of waste, the air quality inside, the health and well-being impact of the building and the surroundings, all of that can be optimized or be environmentally sensitive. So you can definitely see each element. You know, there are ways of looking at water, for example, and of course, a lot of it depends on the function of the building and what is the kind of systems that it has, right? So does it have a system for, let's say, water treatment, right? In a traditional, even in, I don't know, how many people here need to use an RO? Does anybody use RO for drinking water at home? See, only a few outsiders. I don't think you need this in Kerala mostly. But, you know, you use RO, about 60%, 70% of the water in RO goes waste because it just filters that out. And if there is no system for using that water, that just becomes. So there is a conscious way of looking at, okay, do I need filtration of water? If I do, then what can I do with that wastewater? Similarly, once the water is used, does the building have a treatment plant? Do you treat that waste? So every aspect of building operation, you can look at it in a systemic approach and see what is the environmental impact that it has, and is there a way for me to address it and reduce it? It's as simple as that. And there are tools and technologies available today that are so easily accessible. You just Google one problem and you'll find like a million solutions. You just need to then use your engineering judgment to see what is the most appropriate to solve that problem. And yeah, I mean, there are certification and rating systems that codify all of this. So for example, if someone is saying that I want to meet a certain global standard for the performance of the building, then there are existing certifications and standards that can tell you, okay, you are doing better than others, you're towards net zero, or you're an efficient building.
In this construction, we face so many challenges like initial cost and maintenance complexities. So how to manage it clearly?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, because of course cost has to be a very, very important factor in this decision making, and especially as we are in a growing stage as a country, there is a lot of sensitivity to the cost of everything. But what we have found, and again, there are more experienced people here who can answer to that if you just focus on the initial cost of something, then the decision will be very different, rather than looking at what does it cost for me to own and operate it, as you said, for the life of that product. So it's just like buying an air conditioner. You buy something cheaper, it will in a few years start using more energy, and therefore you'd start paying more cost for running that, and in maybe 2 or 3 years you're eventually paying more. So in sustainability, one of the big shifts that we have to do is consider what's called life cycle thinking and life cycle cost, to be able to estimate the savings in operations, in maintenance, with better technology or better methods or better designs. So if one considers that, then a lot of the decisions become simpler. Although again, for most decision-making systems in this country and in the world, in the corporates, it's very tough. Everyone looks at what is my budget now, what is that I need to spend this month, and it's difficult to switch the thinking of, you know, what I spend now versus what I spend 5 or 10 years later. But without that shift, we will just keep doing whatever the cheapest now, and that unfortunately may not be the cheapest from our life cycle or the environmental basis.
Any more questions? Thank you, students.
Thank you. And maybe I would request after this, Vidya, if you can answer that question as well on the costs and the operations. Yes.
Hi, my name is Anuruba. I'm an architecture student. So I'd like to know about IGBC certified buildings. If there are any post-occupancy evaluation happened for an IGBC certified, especially for green home apartments. Because I was decided to do my dissertation based on this topic. So I would like to know more about that.
So technically, all buildings that get certified are required to assess their actual performance and keep that data. But unfortunately, very few buildings actually share that publicly. So yes, there will be, if for your thesis, you may have to go and contact the agency. If they'll share the data, they should for academic purposes. But you know, most people are concerned about sharing their information. But that data does exist, and it's very interesting, and that's why I come back to it, that there is a big difference between the design performance and the actual performance. Because design is always done under ideal condition or the worst case condition. You know, when you design for structure, you're designing for the worst case condition, seismic and everything. Similarly, but in the operations, when people move in, when people operate, so the real measure has to be the operating and the actual use. Green buildings need to share more of that data publicly so that people know what is the real difference, if there is any difference at all, to be able to make informed decisions. But I would urge you to contact IGBC. They have all the data. They're required to keep that data and maybe share that, and that will be a very useful research.
So is there any year of doing that post-occupancy evaluation after the certified?
No, you're required to do it every year. So once your building is ready and occupied, for the first year it's mandatory you share, and after that there's a format in which you have to submit buildings. All LEED, IGBC and GRIHA certified buildings are required to share that data on their energy, water and waste performance.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All good?
Any
Would
more
you like
questions?
to comment a little bit on that from your experience?
See, my experience, I strongly believe, I don't think a chief engineer of an operating property can reduce the energy unless it is built properly. So as Tanmay mentioned about, the orientation of the building is very important. So it's up to the architect or the civil engineer to decide when they construct a building. So a few things we can do it. One is the orientation. It may not be possible always actually to orient the building, according to the sun and the other, because sometimes it depends on how the particular plot faces the road. So sometimes there are limitations, but it's possible to do it. The second thing is that you can actually make the building thermally insulate. Okay, there are ways actually to do it. You can do acoustic insulation, you can do thermal insulation. So that's all done during construction. The third aspect is that you maximize the natural light. But there is an issue here. If you maximize the natural light, you can actually go for large glazing. Okay, so that what would that do? That actually bring light in, but also bring a lot of heat into it. But you can actually eliminate by using some special type of glass, which we actually use in ITC. We use, it's called low emissivity glass. What would that do? That actually bring the light in, but reduce the heat gain. So that means it actually reduce the energy, the air conditioning load. See, the few things, even we also do a selection of high energy efficiency equipment, because if you have an air conditioning chiller, it runs on variable drive. What would this variable drive do? Variable drive means according to the occupancy, according to suppose this hall actually can actually go up to 250 people. When that comes down to 150 or 100, the sensor actually according to the load of particular thing, it reduces the load demand of that one and adjust the flow through variable pumps, variable drives. So it has sensors attached to it. It senses the load, senses the capacity of that one, and it reduces the energy efficient, the tonnage of that one, air conditioning load will come down. There are other ways to do it. We use a variable drive even for vertical transportation. Talking about these elevators these days. Of course, actually, we use all of us, all of you know that we actually moved from, lighting is LED lighting these days, because that's quite common these days, because everyone uses LED lighting. And also that can be done with the sensor-based. Say, if you are not in the room, actually it cuts off. Even sensor-based faucets. And also using the recycled water, maximize that one. Many of us actually do the dual flushing system. It has the less one and the higher one, actually, so that's based on the dual flushing system. Then sensor-based sanitary wares, sensor-based lighting, and so these are the various things actually you can do. But I strongly believe this can only be done provided you implement all this during construction. Otherwise it is not possible for a chief engineer actually to do it. What will you do? You'll just put off the light. He will actually put off the fresh air. But that's not the right thing to do. So it's up to the architect and the civil engineers to do. So people like you, whenever you design something in future, think about orientation, that's very important. Think about the energy efficient materials, what you select, reduce the thermal load. And of course, if you have money, your capital investment is high, but that's what Tanmay said. you need to do a life cycle analysis. You know, everything's not just like money in the beginning. You may have to spend little high, that's high capital investment, but over a period of time, when you do a life cycle study, it actually, the return on investment, you will be able to get that money back in few years' time. So there are many, many aspects, you know, then there are a few things which actually do a zero discharge. You should not allow the rainwater actually to move away from your, Kerala is actually very popular these days. Actually, many of you, when you build your own home, you use this paving, you know, you don't use the, you know, you just do all 360-degree. What do? My own sister actually asked me, you know, Chata, why can't you do this? You know, everybody is doing actually, you know, my house, my mother's house, they wanted to 360-degree paving. I said, no, it's not the right thing to do. Okay, you need to allow the water to stay there. You know, that's what, you know, earlier days and all the grandfathers used to have, you know, most of our houses used to have ponds, you know. And so water actually get retained there. I remember my grandfather, now I know why he used to do it, before the monsoon, so what would that do? Just before monsoon time, because it allowed the water to be there. So the water table actually, you know, it's always maintained. So there are few things, don't go by what your neighbors do. Okay, use the right material. There is a science behind everything. So the selection of material and of course, actually, I mean, you know, the engineers also can actually do a few things. You know, that, one is actually, you know, control, you know, when you have, for example, in hotel industry, when the load is very low, actually, when you have a multiple towers, you can actually, you know, shift the entire occupancy to one new tower and shut off the other thing. That's very few things you can actually do, but it's not possible always. I think I can go on and on actually talk about these things, but if you have any specific things, you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Tanmay Thathakat, for that enlightening and forward-looking address. Your insights on sustainability and innovation have given us much to reflect on, especially as future builders of a better world. We are truly grateful for your presence and perspective today. Now, to express our appreciation to the distinguished guests here today, I now invite Dr. Srilega, HOD, Department of Civil Engineering, to offer the felicitation. Ma'am, we welcome you to the podium.
Respected principal, the guest of the day, the Smiles and their alumni, colleagues and my dear friends. First of all, let me thank our chief guest, Professor Sarah Joseph, a wordsmith of renown, whose presence made this event grateful. Anyway, she's not here to hear these words. Next, let me appreciate the initiatives of Smile Charitable Educational Society for contributing the Smiles Endowment Award for the best B.TECH project, and thus encouraging the students for improving their performance in the project. Also for arranging such an event to honor the students. And let me congratulate the project team, including Ms. Devika, Ajay, Amal, and Anand, under the guidance of their supervisor, Professor Chigil Joseph, for your hard work and dedication. And let this be a motivation for the junior students. And it is a requirement that the students under the guidance of the supervisor should take care to produce innovative and socially relevant project works. Thereby, the reputation of the institution can be enhanced. The present finalist students, already they are in the initial stage of their project, and they should seriously think of what is the project they should undergo in this year, so that at least one or two batches will be coming as the top innovative projects, and they will be having the chance to receive their award in the next coming years also. Similarly, again, the pre-final year students also, they should think of what is the project they will be doing in the next year. Then last but not the least, the presence of our principal, Dr. Solomon, as well as the keynote architect Tanmay Tatagat, with his keynote address, helped make this event successful. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for weaving wisdom into every word. Today has been a tapestry of inspiration stitched together by stories, service, and shared purpose. And now, to offer our collective gratitude, not just on behalf of organizing team, but from the entire fraternity of students of GCT, we invite Ms. Sneha Sunil of S7 Civil Engineering to deliver a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. It's a privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude on the occasion of first Smiles-Anjitha Suresh Endowment Award Ceremony, jointly organized by the Smiles Student Welfare Charitable Society and the Department of Civil Engineering, JEC Thrissur. First of all, I sincerely thank Dr. Solomon PA, our principal, for his constant guidance and for presiding over today's function. A special thanks to our chief guest, Professor Sarah Joseph, for gracing the event with your inspiring words, ma'am. We are also deeply thankful to Architecture Tanmay Tadagat for a truly enlightening keynote address that added a great value to this gathering. He has come all the way from Delhi, especially for this program. We wholeheartedly thank you, sir. Thanks a lot to Dr. Srilega Moni, HRD of Civil Engineering Department, for all the support and for gracing the occasion. To Professor Jigil Joseph, thank you, sir, for mentoring and guiding the award-winning team whose efforts we proudly celebrate today. Hearty congratulations to Devika N, Ajay ER, Amal Anto, and Anand B. Vishnu for their exceptional project on optimizing seismic retrofitting procedure for RCC buildings. You have made your batch and department proud. On behalf of the student community, let me take this opportunity to wholeheartedly thank Smiles for their endeavors in supporting deserving students with financial assistance and mentorships. Their far-sighted effort to make the project works of engineering students more effective and meaningful is indeed praiseworthy. A big thanks to Smiles. Finally, to all the faculty members, organizing team, especially the comparing team, Ankita and Shanum Gaddafi, and dear audience, thank you for your presence and support in making this event a memorable one. Thank you all.
As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And Smiles is our answer. And today that answer was heard loud and clear. To every hands that contributed, to every heart that believed, thank you. Let's leave this hall not with applause, but with purpose, not with goodbye, but with silent promises. That is giving is the beginning of greatness. This is Ankita and Shanum signing off on behalf of Smiles family. May your journey ahead be filled with light, learning, and courage to uplift. Thank you.